Good morning, all, depending on when you're watching this. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, well look, we're 2 days away, as I record this at least. Assuming this video doesn't get delayed for other breaking news, we are 2 days away from the official release of Pokémon Card 151, Scarlet and Violet 151, as it is in English. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting set. It's got a bunch of relevant cards in, and this is the kind of stuff you need to know about. So you know what? We need to have a chat about this. We need to look at the top 10 cards, and I want to start off at number 11 with Charmander. Now, I could not, in all good conscience, actually put Charmander in at one of the top 10. But it is actually going to be one of the most impactful cards in the game right now. And the reason, very simply, is it's got 70 HP. And at the moment, the Charizard from Obsidian Flames has seen a bunch of play. We saw it get a top cut finish at Barcelona special event this past weekend. And the only Charmander we have available at the moment has 60 HP. We don't have a 70 HP Charmander. This will give us one. Stunning alternate art, incidentally. But, yeah. It's a 70 HP Charmander, and it really is as simple as that. Against things like Sableye, the difference between 60 and 70 HP is huge. Sableye gets a straight one-hit KO onto 60 HP Charmander, but 70 HP Charmander, it's a little more difficult. I could keep going for examples, I'm not going to. That extra 10 HP makes a big difference. I can't actually put it on my top 10 list because that feels weird. However, I do think it is absolutely worth pointing out this is going to be one of the most impactful cards from the set, and that's a little bit weird. So actually in at number 10, we've got Cycling Road, which might end up being a little bit too low, and I don't care. And to be fair, I have a good reason for this. Now, Cycling Road is very simply a card that lets you discard a basic energy from your hand to draw a card. And this is going to be great in Gardevoir decks. Because actually, drawing cards, good. And Gardevoir really wants to get energy in the discard so we can accelerate it with Gardevoir EX. And there's going to be other decks that want to use this, don't get me wrong. But certainly Gardevoir decks are the big use for it at the moment. So why only number 10? Because of Moonlight Hill. Now, Moonlight Hill is a gym promo which has yet to actually see a release in English. We don't have this card right now. But what it does is it allows you to discard a basic psychic energy from your hand to deal 30 from each of their Pokemon in play. Which is ridiculous. And obviously in Gardevoir, way better than Cycling Road. We adore this card. This card is phenomenal. So, yeah, Moonlight Hill is better in Gardevoir, and that's the main use Cycling Road at the moment, which keeps it in at number 10. In at number 9, we've got Safety Goggles. This is a card which I don't particularly like, because I think there's too much potential here, although that potential's not necessarily yet being realised. Just takes away weakness from basic Pokemon. But we got stuff coming like Iron Hands that just flat out looks too good. And it's a basic Pokemon. And one of the ways we're going to deal with that is with weakness. So now Iron Hands can be like, joke's on you, now I don't have a weakness. I don't like it. I don't like the big, impactful, basic Pokemon can essentially turn around and just get rid of their weakness entirely. I don't think it's a good thing. I'm not a fan. There's nothing I can do about it, incidentally, but I just want it on the record. Now, in at number 8, we've got the combination of Jinx and Hypno. Now, this is one of those ones that does look a little bit awkward. And maybe for that reason, it's never actually going to be good enough. But I just think this has too much potential. As a side note, they've revealed most of the English images here. But there are a couple, especially trainer cards, where I am having to use a Japanese scan. My apology. But that's not the case here. We've got a Hypno that's got an ability whereby when you evolve into it, you can put your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. And a Jinx that for 1 water, 2 colorless energy gets an instant KO on anything that's asleep. This one writes itself, ladies and gentlemen. This one writes itself. Evolve into Hypno, put him to sleep, instant one-hit KO with Jinx, go and have a little bit of a party. Job's a good un. Yes, it's awkward to pull off, I agree. Yes, the Jinx energy is not ideal. Yes, you need to get the stage 1 evolved up, I understand all of this. But I also know that against 2 and 3 prize decks, being able to get an instant one-hit KO, that's a good thing. Now, in a number 7, a card I seem higher on than other people, and I'm totally okay with this. It's Energy Sticker. It's my kind of card, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. It is my kind of card. Energy Sticker lets you flip a coin, and if you flip a heads, you can attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. It is Universal Energy Acceleration to the bench if you flip a heads. And sure, it's only to the bench, and the much bigger issue here is you've got to flip a heads, I understand. But there are plenty of Pokemon out there that do not have good enough energy acceleration, where the energy acceleration does not look as good as we want it to. That's where this comes in, ladies and gentlemen. That's where this comes in. I think this is going to do a whole bunch of good in a whole bunch of decks, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will remain incredibly disappointing, but you know what? I think it's going to be good, and I am certainly going to test it in a whole bunch of decks, and that means I feel pretty good putting it in at number 7. In at number 6, we've got Daisy's Care, and I've told you this before, I am overrating this card because I have a daughter called Daisy. But the fact of the matter is, it lets you draw 2 cards, and then look at your face-down prize cards, and put them back in order. Which means you know which prize cards you are going to take and when, and they're face down. And being face down is extremely important because of, let's take Chansey from this set as an example. Because Chansey from this set says, if you take it as a face down prize card, you get to flip a coin, and if heads, take an extra prize and pop it on the bench. Well, yeah. Well, it goes on the bench anyway, but you got to flip a coin to get an extra prize. The thing is, Daisy's Care firstly draws your cards, and sure, it's only 2, but it still draws you cards, plural. And then you know where Chansey is. If there is a Chansey in your prizes, you know where it is with Daisy's Care. And sure, you've got to flip a coin, and if you don't flip heads, that's a bit sad, etc. But bear in mind here, flip a coin to draw a prize card. Who wouldn't want to take a risk on that? Who doesn't want to have a chance of drawing an extra prize if they flip a coin and flip a heads? I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is way, way too tempting. I adore this. This is brilliant. I'm a fan. Go team. Now, in at number 5, we got good old Wiggles. And look, this is another card I feel like I might be overrating, and I don't particularly care. I adore this card. What we've got is the ability Expanding Body. If you have a special energy attached, you get an extra 100 HP. But don't forget, we've also got the Wigglytuff, which came around very recently in Paldea Evolved, which lets you, as an ability, once during your turn, attach a therapeutic energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Crucial, because then you can go like therapeutic energy double turbo in a single turn, and then all of a sudden you've got all 3 energy on there from nothing in one go, which is a big deal. Or I suppose you get 2 of the regular Wiggles attached to therapeutic energy and any other, that would be fine. And as a side note, therapeutic energy protects you from sleep, confusion, or paralysis, i.e. the ones that stop you attacking, not burn and poison that just do damage. And then, look, the attack here is fine. We've got 3 energy, 90 damage. If you play the supporter this turn, it does 90 more. That's 180 or 160 if you chose to use a double turbo. But you've got 350 HP. And actually, while we're here, it's worth noting there is another tool in this set which I particularly like. It's Extra Type Belt. It gives stage 1s... Well, it gives them 30 less damage from every attack from your opponent's Pokemon. So Wiggles then has an effective HP of 380. Although, to be fair, I don't just like this card with Wigglytuff. I'm also a big fan of other giant stage 1s using it. Things like Copperaja, for instance. I'm a big fan of it with that. But I figured I'd just put it in here in this particular video. Like Wigglytuff. In at number 4, we've got Blastoise, and I like Blastoise. Blastoise is another one of those where it's a stage 2. And I'm aware that it's a stage 2, and I acknowledge that it's a stage 2, alright? But also, it's great. 330 HP is huge, and it's got an ability that says it takes 30 less from attacks, which is great. And then you can discard up to 2 basic water from your hand, doing 140 damage for each card discarded in this way. And this will work beautifully with Palkia. I don't think you need anything more elaborate. I think Palkia will do very, very, very nicely with this. Because what you've got with Palkia is a way to accelerate free water energy from your discard to your Pokemon. So essentially, Palkia can turn free Blastoise into single energy attackers, which is the most you're ever going to need. And then, of course, we've got Chen Pao that can get the energy out of your deck, which sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. And the only real hurdle with Blastoise is getting the stage 2 rolling. Getting the energy so you can discard 2 and do 280, not that difficult. Getting the energy on there with Palkia, not that difficult. Being extremely difficult to KO, yeah, that just comes naturally. It's just whether you can actually get the stage 2 rolling, that is a little bit of an issue. Now, in at number 3, we've got Zapdos. This is already seeing a bunch of play over in Japan, and it's really very simple. It's a tool in Miraidon. And as it stands at the moment, we're not really seeing anything more than that. We don't really need to see anything more than that. It is a great tool in Miraidon. Don't forget, we got the alternate art, which comes in the EX box. So it's going to be a very, very, very easy card to get hold of if you so wish. And basically, what we got with Zapdos here is a free retreating Pokemon, as long as you've got any lightning energy attached. Don't sleep on that. Having a free retreater is great for loads of situations, including just having something to retreat, so you put it in the active at the start of your turn after a KO, and then you can have whatever you want active at the end of your turn. Having a free retreater is great. But for free lightning energy, 120 plus 90 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has any damage counters on it. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be great for finishing off damaged Pokemon, for getting multiple KOs, etc, etc. It means a poke for 10 HP in the early game can actually pay off in the late game. Zapdos makes Miraidon way better. And can anyone remember which deck won the Champions League in Yokohama recently? That big 3,100 player tournament? Yes, they had 3,000 players at the Champions League in Yokohama. Yeah, Miraidon. Take a wild guess whether it played Zapdos. It did, incidentally. Now, in at number 2 is another card which I am not seeing enough play for at the moment, which I might be over-egging, and I don't even care. I think this card's phenomenal. I expected to see a bunch of play, so I feel confident with this one. It's Ditto. What we got with Ditto is not the Splup attack, nobody cares. It is the ability's transformative start. Once during your first turn, and it has to be your first turn, doesn't matter whether you go first or second, but it does have to be your first turn. If this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may search your deck and choose a basic Pokemon you find there other than Ditto, discard Ditto and all attached cards, and put the chosen Pokemon in its place. Yes, if you get multiple Ditto into the active during your first turn, you can use this attack multiple times to get multiple basics out. If there is a deck where you are just desperate to get a particular starting Pokemon of your choice in to begin the game, this is how you do it. This is how you make sure you get the perfect Pokemon in the active to start the game every time. Could not be more of a fan of this card. It's not seeing a huge amount of play at the moment, I understand. I feel extremely confident that that is going to change in a not too distant future. But number 1 is easy, it's Mew. And I know when I've talked about this before, I've not said Mew is the absolute certain guaranteed best card in the set. So let me fix that now and say with absolute certainty, this is by a huge margin the best card in the set. And forgive me for not being clear enough about this in the past. It's not even close. Do remember that the Mew Ultra Premium Collection will be bringing the special illustration rare version of this very easily for us, so we're going to be able to get it super easily. But yeah, this is the best card in the set. It is the best card by a mile, and I've not always been clear enough on that in the past, so let me be super clear on it now. This is number 1, and there is no strong competition. Firstly, it's got free retreat, big bonus. Secondly, once during your turn, you can draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. That's phenomenal, and it's not limited to once per turn, only once per turn per Mew. So multiple Mew, and you can do this multiple times. But also free colorless energy. Copy one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks, and use it as this attack. That Charizard from Obsidian Flames has a really good attack. Yeah, no, you can totally copy that to KO a Charizard if that's a matchup you're facing, which I was doing some testing with lovely Joe Bernard the other day, and he kept doing that, and it was actually really super annoying, alright? Really super annoying. Or, you know how Giratina can do 280 damage and has 280 HP? Yeah, this can KO an opposing Giratina. You still do have to Lost Zone 2 energy to do so, but that's fine, because you totally just can. They're just two examples, there's plenty more. It's got free retreat, a phenomenal ability, and a phenomenal attack, and it uses colorless energy. At the Champions League in Yokohama this past weekend, we saw it played in Miraidon decks. We saw it played in Lugia decks. We saw it played in Gardevoir decks. Not all Gardevoir decks, but we did see it pop up there. We saw it played in Goodra decks, yes? Goodra decks. It's popping up all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. It is popping up all over the place. Believe me when I say this card is absolutely huge. So there we go. That's what you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think the top 10 cards are. As always, give a full list in the comment section. I would be delighted if you did. Tell me which of these cards you're excited about. Tell me which of these cards are on your list. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourself till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.